You just unlocked the front door of your brand new nail salon. You have $30,000 invested, a fresh coat of pink paint on the walls, and a beautiful spreadsheet that promises you a glorious 55% gross profit margin. You run your hands over the sparkling reception desk, calculating exactly how fast you are going to become a millionaire. Congratulations! You have successfully taken the first step into one of the most brilliant financial traps in the modern American economy. By the end of your very first month, you are going to realize something profoundly funny. You just paid your lead nail technician exactly twice your own salary, while you scrub the foot spas at 10 o'clock at night. But hey, do not worry too much. At least you get to inhale premium-grade acetone for free while you stare in absolute horror at your commercial electricity bill. Welcome to Job Gains. I am Alex, and today I am going to completely shred your $30,000 beauty empire business plan. We are going to dive deep into the microeconomics of the nail industry, expose the 70-30 commission death trap, and uncover the 6 layers of invisible costs that drain your bank account while you sleep. And at the very end of this video, I will reveal a dark financial reality about selling your salon that leaves 60% of owners entirely broke. But before we get to the tears, let us just laugh about how fast your capital is going to evaporate. Let us talk about the big, glamorous lie that brought you here in the first place. The 55% profit margin. If you go online right now, every business guru and franchise brochure will scream this number at you. They tell you that a customer walks in, pays $100 for a fresh set of acrylics, and you magically keep $55. The raw materials only cost $5 to $10, so the math looks absolutely incredible, right? You think to yourself, I just need 10 customers a day, and I am literally printing money. But here comes the reality check, and it is shaped exactly like a very hungry, very aggressive financial Pac-Man. You are confusing gross margin with net margin, which is the equivalent of confusing a heavily filtered Tinder profile with real life. Yes, the raw materials are cheap. Acrylic powder and liquid monomer do not cost much. But beautiful nails do not magically apply themselves. You need human beings, and human beings are expensive. In the American beauty industry, top-tier nail technicians absolutely do not work for minimum wage, and they certainly do not care about your business loan. They demand a commission split. Usually it is a 60-40 split or the infamous 70-30 split. That means if your star technician brings in $100 of revenue, they immediately pocket $70. You, the mighty CEO, are left holding $30. Now, let us look at what you have to do with that $30. From that tiny slice of the pie, you have to pay the commercial lease. Then you pay the electricity, the water, the endless supply of paper towels, the liability insurance, the credit card processing fees, and the payroll taxes. And maybe, just maybe, if the stars align and absolutely nothing breaks in your shop that day, you have $3 left to buy yourself a half-eaten turkey sandwich. Flexing a 55% gross margin is exactly like flexing that you just won the lottery, but completely forgetting to mention that you owe the mafia double your winnings. It is an illusion that feeds your ego. You thought you were building a beauty empire, but in reality, you are just a glorified landlord. You are running a charity organization, sponsoring highly comfortable chairs for your own employees to make money on your dime. Let us break down the brutal math of the empty chair penalty. A nail salon is a labor-heavy inventory trap. If you run a local coffee shop and nobody shows up on a Tuesday, at least you can drink your own espresso to stay awake and panic. But you cannot drink acetone. Every single hour that a 50-pound spa chair sits empty, your fixed costs are still running at full speed. The lease does not care if it is a slow afternoon. The insurance premium does not care if it is raining outside. That empty chair is silently subtracting money from your credit card every single second it is not occupied. The first financial seed you need to plant in your brain is this. Gross profit is a vanity metric used to sell you expensive equipment. Net cash flow is what actually feeds your family. So you survived the commission split. Barely, but let us rewind to how you got into this specific mess in the first place. The internet forums and TikTok advisors told you that $30,000 is more than enough to open your own nail salon. Let me be very, very clear with you. $30,000 is indeed enough to buy a nail salon. It is just going to be a completely dead, abandoned salon built in 1998, featuring rusty plumbing, flickering fluorescent lights, and a faint, lingering smell of regret. To build a competitive, modern, aesthetically pleasing salon in America today, the kind that actually attracts customers who tip, you are looking at $75,000 to $150,000 minimum. And that is exactly where the invisible cost thermometer starts to explode right in your face. Let us start with your pride and joy, the pedicure spa chairs. You spend $3,500 on a beautiful, sparkling, leather-wrapped massage throne. You pat yourself on the back, thinking you just bought a solid, income-generating asset. But depreciation is a very polite, invisible thief. It does not break into your salon at night. It just quietly sits there and makes everything you own entirely worthless. With the harsh, corrosive chemicals and the non-stop daily usage from hundreds of customers, the internal plumbing in those chairs will begin to fail. The synthetic leather will rip, fade, and stain. In roughly 4 years, that $3,500 luxury throne is worth exactly $300 on Facebook Marketplace. Those chairs depreciate significantly faster than the shiny new BMW you aggressively plan to buy with your imaginary first-year profits. But wait, the spending spree is not over. Enter the government, specifically OSHA and the Environmental Protection Agency. They have extremely strict, heavily enforced rules about ventilation compliance in beauty salons. You have a very simple choice. Let your employees breathe in toxic chemical fumes for free and wait for a massive health lawsuit, or pay $10,000 out of pocket for a commercial-grade source capture ventilation system. Spoiler alert, the United States government strongly prefers the giant, expensive fan over the health of your bank account. If you decide to cut corners, get inspected, and fail, the $8,000 federal fine will literally cost you more than liquidating your entire shop. Sometimes, the most profitable business decision you can make in this specific scenario is to just turn off the neon lights, lock the front door, and run away in the middle of the night. And we have not even talked about your commercial real estate lease. Signing a 5-year commercial lease for a retail space is exactly like entering a marriage where you are not legally allowed to get a divorce, and your partner is a corporate landlord who legally demands you pay them more money every single year. Many salon owners get trapped in triple net leases. This means you do not just pay the base rent. You pay the rent plus the building's property taxes, plus the building's structural insurance, plus the maintenance of the shared parking lot. If the roof leaks over your expensive pedicure stations, guess who pays to fix it? You did not budget for these invisible costs. And now, you are one broken commercial air conditioner away from total irreversible bankruptcy. So your profit margins are completely razor thin, your massage chairs are depreciating into actual dust, and your corporate landlord is essentially holding you hostage. How on earth do nail salon owners survive these immense financial pressures? Well, a massive portion of them decide to play a highly illegal, absolutely thrilling casino game. I like to call it the 1099 tax roulette. Let us talk about the single biggest legal landmine in the American beauty industry, worker classification. When you hire a nail technician, you are legally supposed to put them on your official payroll. This means you, as the business owner, have to pay the employer portion of their Social Security and Medicare taxes. You also have to pay federal and state unemployment taxes, along with mandatory workers' compensation insurance. Add it all up, and putting someone on payroll legally increases your labor costs by roughly 8 to 12%. And as we clearly established in Chapter 1, you literally do not have an extra 12% to spare. So what does the brilliant, deeply cash-strapped salon owner do? They choose to classify their full-time nail technicians as 1099 independent contractors. On paper, an independent contractor is supposed to be their own boss. They rent a booth from you, they set their own hours, they bring their own expensive supplies, and they process their own customer payments. But that is almost never what actually happens in a traditional nail salon. In reality, you tell the technician they must show up at 9 in the morning. You tell them what uniform or apron to wear. You provide the acrylic powder, you set the prices on the laminated menu, and you collect all the money at your front register. The Internal Revenue Service is not stupid. The IRS has an extremely rigid set of guidelines, and if you control the worker's schedule, tools, and pricing, they are your employee. Period. But thousands of salon owners completely ignore this reality and issue 1099 forms anyway, just to save a few $1,000s a year. This is an absolutely fascinating business strategy. You are actively choosing to dodge a minor, predictable tax bill today, purely so you can buy a premium, VIP ticket to federal tax court tomorrow. It is a high-risk investment with absolutely zero long-term returns. Because here is what happens when you finally lose the 1099 roulette. If just one disgruntled former employee files for unemployment, or if the IRS simply decides to randomly audit your specific salon, your entire financial world collapses overnight. The government does not just slap your wrist and tell you to do better next time. They will look back through 3 full years of your accounting records. They will force you to pay all of the back taxes you strategically skipped. Then they will add massive failure to pay penalties. And then they will add compounding interest on top of those penalties. A single IRS audit for worker misclassification can easily result in a $50,000 or even a $100,000 fine. The financial seed you must understand here is that legal risk is the only invisible cost in business that literally has no ceiling. One bad audit and the government will happily freeze your business bank account, lock your doors, and force you to liquidate everything you own just to pay them back. Even if you manage to avoid the IRS and play the tax game perfectly, you still have to face the ultimate boss of the beauty industry. And no, it is not the government. It is your own laid nail technician. Welcome to the 70-30 death spiral and the brutal reality of client migration. When you first designed your beautiful salon, you probably spent thousands of dollars on a custom logo, a trendy neon sign that says good vibes only, and a massive marketing campaign. You look at your fully booked waiting area on a Saturday afternoon and you think to yourself, wow, my brand is incredibly strong. My marketing strategy is working perfectly. The community absolutely loves my business. I deeply hate to break this to you, but the community does not care about your neon sign. They do not care about your brand, they only care about Mary. Mary is your star technician. She works incredibly fast, her acrylic shaping is completely flawless, and she remembers the names of all your clients' children. The harsh, undeniable truth of the service industry is that your customers are not loyal to your business entity. They are fiercely loyal to Mary's two hands. This creates a terrifying power dynamic. Because Mary knows exactly how valuable she is, she has all of the leverage. She is the one demanding that infamous 70-30 commission split we talked about earlier. And because you are absolutely terrified of losing her, you agree to it. You effectively surrender the vast majority of your revenue just to keep her inside the building. You are no longer the CEO of a company. You have been demoted to a highly stressed hostage negotiator, constantly trying to keep your staff happy so they do not destroy your cash flow. But eventually, something goes wrong. Mary gets upset over a minor scheduling conflict on a Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, she quits. And by Thursday, she has taken a new job at a competing salon exactly 2 blocks down the street. Or even worse, she opens her own independent studio suite. What happens next is what I like to call the great client migration. You will watch in absolute horror as 80% of your most loyal, highest-paying customers completely vanish from your appointment book overnight. It does not matter how expensive your pedicure chairs are or how clean your bathrooms are. If Mary decides to start doing nails under a highway overpass, those wealthy clients will happily grab their authentic Dior handbags and follow her straight into the traffic. This brings us to the most critical financial seed you must understand about running a service-based business. In this industry, your biggest competitive advantage, human capital, is simultaneously your most destructive operational risk. Your entire revenue stream literally has legs, and those legs can walk right out the front door whenever they feel like it. When your star technician sneezes, your overall revenue catches a severe cold. And how exactly do you react when you suddenly lose half your returning clients? You panic. You need foot traffic immediately to cover that massive commercial lease we discussed in Chapter 2. So you make the ultimate desperate move. You run a Groupon promotion. You offer 50% off a brand new full set of nails just to get warm bodies back through the door. Let us do the miserable math on your panic attack. A standard set of nails normally costs $60. You discount it to $30 for the promotion. But Groupon, being the wonderful platform that it is, takes half of the promotional price as their platform fee. So now you are collecting exactly $15 for an hour and a half of intensive labor. And wait, you still have to pay your new technician their commission out of that $15, plus cover the physical cost of the acrylic powder and liquid monomer. Congratulations! You have officially discovered a groundbreaking, highly innovative business model. You are now actively paying random customers for the privilege of letting you work for them. You have successfully engineered a scenario where every time the front door opens, you lose money. Let us assume for a moment that you miraculously survived the great client migration. You hired new staff, you stabilized your daily bookings, and you are finally breathing a sigh of relief. Do not relax just yet. We need to discuss the microbleeds. These are the tiny, almost invisible financial punctures that slowly sink your business while you are entirely focused on looking out for giant icebergs. The first microbleed is supply shrinkage. When you calculate your perfect 55% margin on your spreadsheet, you assume every single drop of expensive gel polish and every ounce of acrylic powder is used with maximum efficiency. But your employees do not pay for the supplies, you do. They will accidentally knock over a brand new bottle of premium top coat. They will use 3 times the necessary amount of cotton pads and pure acetone, simply because it is faster for them to clean up. Every time a technician spills a bottle of polish on the tile floor, that is not just a harsh chemical smell filling the room. That is the very distinct smell of your net profit evaporating into thin air. Then comes the invisible toll booth, credit card processing fees. With the average salon ticket sitting around $60 to $80, almost no one pays in cash anymore. Every single time a client taps their phone or swipes their card, the payment processor takes 2.5 to 3% of the total revenue. Visa and MasterCard have never stepped foot inside your salon. They have never touched a nail file or swept a dusty floor. Yet they are absolutely the most consistent, reliable shareholders in your entire business, taking their unearned dividend right off the top before you can even blink. But the microbleeds get significantly worse, thanks to the cultural economy of 2026. We are currently living. Customers are completely exhausted by digital screens, aggressively asking them for a 20% tip every time they buy a simple black coffee or pick up a takeout order. Because everyday consumers are feeling the financial pinch, salon tipping percentages are quietly dropping. And when your technicians notice their daily tip money shrinking, they do not get mad at the macroeconomic climate. They get mad at you. To compensate for their lost tip income, they will demand an even higher base commission split, taking another massive bite out of your already microscopic profit pie. And finally, to keep new clients walking through the front door to replace the ones who left, you have to deal with the digital extortion racket known as online review platforms. If you want your salon to show up on the first page of Yelp or Google Local, you have to pay them hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars a month in sponsored advertising fees. If you decide to stop paying, your competitors magically appear above you, and your new foot traffic dries up instantly. You are not just paying for marketing. You are paying a monthly digital ransom just to maintain the right to exist on the internet. So the microbleeds have drained your cash flow, the digital ransom payments have exhausted your marketing budget, and you are working harder than you ever have in your entire life. Eventually, the sheer physical and mental exhaustion catches up to you. You experience the classic boss babe burnout. You look around at your expensive pedicure chairs, your neon sign, and your massive inventory of gel polish, and you make a decision. I am going to sell this business. You open up a spreadsheet and you start doing what I call emotional accounting. You tell yourself, well, I invested $100,000 into the initial build-out. I bought brand new equipment. I upgraded the plumbing, and I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into this place for 3 straight years. Therefore, this salon is definitely worth at least $120,000. You list the salon for sale, and then you wait. And wait and wait. Eventually, a serious buyer walks through the door. It is not a naive beginner, it is an experienced investor. They completely ignore your beautiful wall of premium polish. They do not care about your trendy decorations or how much you spent on the custom reception desk. They ask for exactly one thing, your trailing 12 months profit and loss statement. Here is the brutal reality of the secondary market, and this is the exact moment the exit delusion comes crashing down. Financial buyers do not care how much money you spent to build the business. They do not care how many tears you cried on the floor. They only care about one metric, EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. In simpler terms, they only care about how much actual, tangible cash the business prints at the end of the year. If your salon generates $350,000 in total revenue, but your profit margin has been crushed by 70-30 commission splits, expensive commercial rent, and invisible microbleeds, your actual net profit might only be $30,000 a year. In the beauty industry, small businesses are typically valued at roughly 1.5 to 2 times their annual net profit. That means the experienced investor is going to look at your emotional $120,000 asking price and calmly offer you exactly $45,000. And if you refuse, they will simply walk away, wait for your commercial lease to expire, watch you go bankrupt, and then buy your equipment from the landlord for pennies on the dollar. The exit delusion is the final trap. You thought you were building an asset that you could sell to retire comfortably, but instead, you are forced to sell your salon at a massive loss just to escape the daily nightmare of running it. Let us do the final, undeniable math, the ultimate calculation of the aesthetic entrepreneurial dream. Let us assume you miraculously survived the commission splits, you dodged the IRS tax audits, your star technician decided to stay, and you actually managed to build a salon that generates $350,000 in annual revenue. That is a beautiful, highly respectable number on paper. But let us subtract the dark reality of the beauty industry. You pay $210,000 directly to your technicians because of the 70-30 split. You pay $60,000 for your commercial rent, property taxes, and utilities. You pay $20,000 for chemical supplies, paper goods, and the inevitable inventory shrinkage. And you pay $15,000 for liability insurance, credit card processing fees, and digital marketing ransoms. After all the dust settles, you are left with $45,000 of actual net profit for the entire year. Now let us look closely at your physical schedule. As the owner of a small retail business, you absolutely do not work 40 hours a week. You are there at 8 in the morning to unlock the front doors and turn on the ventilation systems. You are there at 9 at night scrubbing the pedicure bowls because your staff already went home. You spend your Sunday evenings doing payroll and desperately trying to balance the accounting books. You are working roughly 70 hours a week, 50 weeks a year. That is 3,500 hours of your life completely consumed by this business. If we divide your $45,000 annual profit by your 3,500 hours of intense labor, your true executive compensation is exactly $12.80 an hour. McDonald's is currently hiring shift managers for $15 an hour. And at McDonald's, you at least get free chicken nuggets, paid time off, and zero liability if a customer slips on the floor. Here, you just get to inhale acrylic dust, deal with constant anxiety, and carry $100,000 of high-interest business debt. If you took that exact same initial $100,000 investment and put it into an S&P 500 index fund, you could literally go to sleep for an entire year, do absolutely nothing, and earn more in compound interest than you do manually scrubbing foot spas. Because guess what? The stock market does not call you at 2 in the morning to complain that the commercial toilet is clogged. But this is where the jokes permanently stop. A 55% margin exists purely on paper. But in the real world of service-based businesses, your greatest operational asset is also your most destructive financial liability. Human capital. In 2026, our culture is absolutely obsessed with the idea of passive income. We are desperate to escape the traditional 9-to-5 corporate grind. We are terrified of working for a boss. So what do we instinctively do? We spend our entire life savings to escape a 40-hour work week working for someone else, only to successfully trap ourselves in a 70-hour work week working for our own ungrateful staff. 60% of nail salon owners do not actually own a beauty empire. They own a terrible, exhausting, low-paying job. They bought a job where they take on 100% of the financial, legal, and operational risk, while their employees walk away with the vast majority of the daily profits. You are the landlord, you are the janitor, you are the late-night accountant, and you are the human shock absorber for every angry customer, every broken chair, and every bad review. So here is the final financial question you have to answer before you ever sign your name on that commercial lease. Are you actually investing your capital to build generational wealth? Or are you simply spending $100,000 to lock yourself inside an acetone-scented prison just because you like the idea of being called a CEO? From dream profit margins to the harsh, unforgiving slap of reality, the beauty industry is a brutal beast. Drop a comment down below right now. If you had $100,000 in cash today, are you opening a salon, or are you throwing it straight into the S&P 500 and going back to sleep? Send this video immediately to that one friend who keeps asking you to co-found a beauty business with them. Do it before you both end up bankrupt and splitting a single bowl of instant ramen. And if you think opening a nail salon is a massive financial nightmare, wait until you see my brutal breakdown on the microscopic profit margins of a local coffee shop. Click the video on your screen right here to watch that next. As for me, I am Alex. I will just stay right here safely behind my spreadsheets so I never have to inhale those toxic fumes.